Hi, Zimwriters. One of the questions I got asked is how I do bulk. And so on this page, you'll see I found I have this bird test site I've been working on, right? So let's do this. So I went to Wikipedia and I just looked up a list of birds from California. I select and grab all just this section because I don't want to have to try and clean up all this other junk yet, right? I mean, there's a lot of birds. I live in California and I love our wildlife. I didn't really realize there were that many different types of bird species we had here in California. Truly fantastic. I was like, wow, amazing. Anyhow, that being said, so I basically copied the list. And I'm showing you how I do this because uh, you can ask AI, whether using OpenAI or Claude or Bard or any of them, is are you sure that animal exists? Like, do I know every species? Probably not. Do I really want to verify? Probably not. So I don't really find something like a magic command in Zimwriter like this very useful. And it's just because I can't trust the output of any of the large language models. I don't know if it's factual. So it's just real simple here. We all know these are all entities anyways. They're all clickable. So I'm pretty sure all the large language models studied Wikipedia's data. So it should know about these things, right? So I want to clean up that data. So I use Claude, real simple, real easy. And I put extract the common names because you'll see I've got the scientific name and the common name when we copied all that of these birds from the list, right? And I just pasted that whole list in here. And it's going to give me this nice little, all right, here's your common names extracted. So let's go grab all these and copy these. Open this new document. I use junk all the time. There we go. Nope. New. Paste. So we have 33 of these ducks here. That's not too bad. Okay. Now, what do I do? Bulk writer. Do. Paste. So, what am I using? I'm using a custom outline. Let me get this warning here. Yep, because I got this selected here. So we go to custom outline, and I think, oh, I don't have anyone on this one. Give me one moment. And do I have it in here? Yes, but there's something I wanted to get rid of on here. And I think that was... No, I think this one was staying. I think this is the new test one. So we'll use it. I don't have an outline saved because I've been playing around with Matt's new beta. And oh boy, he was, I know he's posted and shown some screen, talked about a little bit what it's going to be. I've already put it to good use on a couple of things. And do you see this look? I know when the video comes out, when he announces the update, you guys are going to need to watch it multiple times and experiment and practice because it's going to have a little bit of a learning curve. Don't worry, I'll be here to help. Okay, so let's call this birds. And we will save a new outline. Let's enable this. Just do turbo. And how many am I running here? 30 something, I think it was. I do tiny because it's not... Actually, I could do short on this. No, I'll leave it tiny. Normally I do short. And I forgot I haven't done a tiny test on this yet, so I'm going to do tiny on this. Tiny is an option I use for the H2 section length for topics I know artificial intelligence doesn't have a lot of information on. And so that's a way that it gets it very short, very concise. It helps prevent the hallucinations. So for things like these birds, though, should have plenty of information. I shouldn't have to worry too much. But I'm going to go tiny voice. What was I doing on this test site? I'll come back to that in a minute. I don't use literary devices. We don't need lists and all that because it's already in the custom if it's there. I am going to enable this, and here's why. I use the bulk blog, the bulk Zimwriter importer, the pro version. And I love the auto image generation. I love the features he's been adding to this plugin. You guys really ought to check it out. It's really fantastic. Key takeaways, yes, I don't need a tease. That's already done. We can do a short, I guess. Audience personality. I haven't done an explorer for the birds. Where did I leave off, though? I think I left off on Jester Everyman. So I'm going to choose Explorer right now because I know for a fact I haven't done that one yet. You hear me talk about doing these tests. And so what I do is I try the different settings in Zimwriter and I see how it outputs. And I watch its search results. Not that everything is going to rank. You're talking about, it's still going to show up, maybe page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. But it's nice to see the differences, and I go back and I look at the content, and I can kind of see what gets the actual impressions. And so what I'm actually going to do on this site is once I get to about 1,000 birds, I am, again, no products on this stuff. I mean, I'm auto stuff with plugins, but not what I'm looking for. It allows me to see what works with what type of content. And since this is all on birds, all the different personalities gives me an opportunity to see, check out the different writing styles that's on the same type of subject matter. And that's really kind of cool for me. So that's what I love doing about getting to play with these test sites. Voice. Because it's been scientific, a lot of information, I've always been doing professional. And there was part of me that was like, well, I wanted to add to the, excuse me, outline, but I'll probably do this programmatically, and I won't go into that too much. But basically, there are other databases and APIs that are available. Like, so this is a bird site. So I could do product pages for things like bird feeders and all that random stuff. Or I could do it, focus on add some photography stuff into it for bird watching. So this allows me to plug into other APIs, which I can do on other sites, and I've never really done on one of these test sites, at least nothing that I've shown to the public. And so maybe what I'm going to do, and this is just a thought process, I haven't decided, is show how that we can tie into other APIs. So I can get hunting information, and basically it will tell me, and automatically I can import data on hunting seasons and locations, and not only that, I can tie into other APIs and find hotel establishments in the area. I mean, I can take it on and on and on because it's always been about lead generation for me, and all those additional contact points brings in so many other because I provide hunting information, I'm providing hotel information, I'm providing some demographic information. So this bird site's actually going to be, keep an eye on it. You'll see right now it's just pure Zimwriter output, but as I start adding other APIs, I'm going to add some other features and functions. Here's one I'm doing research on right now. There's a database provided by the Audubon Society. If I remember that correctly, I'm trying to remember because I've been trying to find this. But they actually have a database that shows their migratory patterns. So what I'm thinking, I was like, well, I could do like an HTML5 animation with a little image on there, like an animated infographic that shows their standard migratory patterns. Another one will automatically do a location on the map that shows where they generally are. Some birds are all over the place. So I got to figure out how I'm going to tackle that too, because I mean, I don't need it to say this bird is everywhere on the planet. And some birds are not legal to hunt. So that data will be important. It just says basically it's not legal and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's some other information I'm trying to automate. I'm doing the research on that. Again, I've never built a site like this per se, but I've built other sites that are very programmatic and rely on a lot of imported data. And so that's what I'm eventually going to do with this. Is it going to be part of the course? I don't know if I'm necessarily going to teach how to do all this, but I will show kind of some of the steps that I do. You'll have to do your own research as well, because again, it's going to require some programming and some other stuff. But I will try and, if it's something simple that's almost automated, I will try and show how that is done. I figure that's the fairness thing I can do. And let's see. Other people have also asked, and no, I'm not changing the price on the course. Yes, Matt is increasing the price on the software, but that has nothing to do or related with me. We are not the same business. We aren't even business partners. We aren't connected that way. But I've made a public promise that the price of this course will not change. Now, to address that, there are other things I've been asked to cover that aren't related directly to Zimwriter. And if I decide to do those things, those will be a separate course, and they will be, because it's so intensive and the audience really needs programming skills and stuff like that. I will charge a little bit more for that. It will be a little bit more in depth. It'll be a lot more professional. I'll have slides, screenshots. I mean, I would really invest in that because it requires something like that. It's not where I can sit here and show the application, run a couple screenshots, explain what they mean. It's probably a little more in depth than that because everyone's host is different, everyone's server is different, PHP, and what libraries do you have access to on your host, and can you just pull them directly remotely? Because some of these APIs just require that you download the database. It's not an online API access at all. In fact, it's no API. It's just that you download the database and you put it right there in a sweet SQL file. Some are flat file. You can do that and pull the data out. But just something to think about. So let's get back to this here. So this bulk blog write, this is basically, I'm taking all these and allowing this to just go simple because I don't need to do anything. The software is going to import these as keywords. You see, so Rank Math is going to pick the title up as the keyword as well as the software. And so it requires almost nothing for me. This is automatically going to create an H2 somewhere, and I can take that, come up with a creative title for the actual page. But this works perfect because the URL structure is also going to be based on the title. So it's real easy. I leave it the plain bird name. I'm not trying to get creative and say the number one, spot to find this bird. I'll do that in the title, but not in the URL, not in the keyword. All this kind of handles that. And I just don't complicate it. Keep it simple as possible. If I was going for trying to rank and I was manually editing these hardcore, to be honest, I would still probably use the bulk writer because it saves a lot of time. I can put a bunch of stuff out there, do edit, and then once things start getting traction, I can go in and do some fine-tune editing. But because this site is going to have some other features and other options, that really is not important to me. It's the other things that are data that's going to be fed into it that's probably the real power behind what will make the some of the on-page might be useful, but it as far as the output from Zimwriter, still going to need some basic editing because AI does what AI does. Still takes some verification of information if I see anything that stands out. Still got to add entities in the appropriate place and the right rate. And I don't know ratios is the right word, but you're trying to satisfy and explain to Google exactly what is on the page, and then afterwards, then do it all in schema. Auto style. I'll skip that for a second. Automatic keywords I will always use on this. For this type of thing, it just works. I don't need to guess. And I haven't tried it without this because we're not choosing keywords. But I'm wondering, and I've never talked to Matt on this, and I'm wondering if it goes through a different set of prompting on the back end, different set of engineering to do the automatic keyword part. So my guess is yes. Matt's a pretty smart guy, and I think that's what I would have to do if I programmed. I always do detection as real. Does it work? I don't know. And I don't really care if it detects it as real or not. I've just always done that. Paragraphs, active voice, conclusion. Never use a damn conclusion. I really don't. Even when it accidentally puts it in there, I delete it. You know, anytime I see a conclusion, it's got to go. I'm going to add... enable these, but I want to do 3. I don't care about that. Yeah. I'm not using custom prompt. When doing work on Turbo or even DaVinci, everything I would use in a custom prompt, I would just do manually later. I thought about doing formatting and words, and I never really found it consistent enough and accurate enough, and so I would try GPT-4, but obviously, you know, the cost for that is silly to use for some of these articles because they need to be manually edited anyway, so it doesn't really make sense to me. But it does work at that point. Best of 2. This is a internal OpenAI setting. It's not a Matt setting. It's not a Zimwriter setting. There's never been a real explanation. It's just part of the API. It's a feature function, but we've never been told how that's determined. We've never been told anything. It just, our assumption is it runs it twice, picks the best one. But how does it know which one is the best one? You know, like, how does that get determined? I would really like to know. Is it based on subject matter? I don't know. I'm just programmer brain, you know. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Oh, right in the style of. What is his name? Very interesting name. And for the life of me, I can't remember. So I am going to do a right in the style of a bird lover? No. What is the what's the scientific name for that? What? Whatever. Ooh. Let's do this. If you ever read the Dune series, or I don't know if it's on the movies or TV series, but they have a thing called an ornithopter? Thopter. So there you go. And I'm going to set this to run. And I'll end the video here. I'll upload this to YouTube. And tomorrow, I will actually show some of these results and kind of go over and and figure out some things. But before I do that, I need to check some settings. I had some things disabled before, so let me close this here and open up some options. There, let's see, display. Oh, don't display magic command, blah, blah, blah. Don't display cost. Don't. Okay, I'm good. I was just making sure that there's a different setting on the new version. And I was just making sure. I didn't realize that if I was using the beta or not. Anyhow, I'm going to get this started, and you guys have an amazing day, and I will be available most of the evening. Me personally, I'm not all that busy today. So, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that wonderful stuff we're supposed to do, and I'm supposed to mention and say, otherwise they kick me and tell me I'm not doing it right. I've had multiple people come into private channel, tell me they love what I'm doing, they like the style that I'm doing, but I need to remind people to like, share, subscribe, and am I missing something?